Well, first of all, Michael, how did you hear about the Angela Calla Mortgage Team? My understanding is it goes back a few years.
Yeah, the first time I dealt with the group was a number of years ago, and I heard about them through CKNW. And then I started paying attention to all the commercials that you guys would air on CKNW, or that the Angela Calla Group would air on CKNW, and started to wonder to myself, what the heck have I been doing wrong all this time? Because I was in a mortgage for my first property at the time, and it was not very good. It was quite punitive, actually. And, I was hearing all these stories about people who were saving so much money, and I was wondering to myself, what the heck am I doing wrong?
Well, my understanding is, Michael, that Angela initially helped you restructure that mortgage when you met some years ago. The mortgage that you had, she redid for you.
That's right, and actually she gave me some very good advice. The first time I contacted her, it was because of the penalty with my existing mortgage. It was not advantageous for me to do business with her group at the time, and she was actually, she gave me the advice that even though obviously it's not good for her group, but that I should wait until my term was up, which was only a few years away, so as to avoid paying the penalty, or actually rather high penalty, that the lender at the time was going to impose, which was obviously good advice, saved me a lot of money in getting out. And then as soon as my term was up, they contacted me saying, hey, we remember your term should be up soon. Do you still want to do business? And absolutely. So.
And now you're looking at a new home, and you're getting ready to move into this new home, and of course that brought you back to Angela.
Yeah, exactly. It was, for me, it was sort of a no-brainer. I had absolutely no difficulties dealing with them the first time, and it was a very easy process, and they took all the guesswork out of it. And when we were purchasing this home, my wife and I are sort of taking a bit of a leap with this home that we're purchasing now. It's it's kind of our dream home that we're trying to jump into.
You really want to be certain about the affordability factor, don't you? And that's where the Angela Calla Mortgage Team really does make it easy for you to understand.
Exactly. One of her staff there was just fantastic. I mean, for a little while, it was almost like every day or a couple times a day, I was emailing him with questions about, well, what if we did this? What if we did that? And he would very patiently, take me through the whole process again and again and again. Until I was quite confident that what we were doing was right, and they were very helpful with that.
When the Angela Calla Mortgage Team helped you prepare this list of options and eventually decide on the mortgage that you decided on, Michael, was it with a view that it would be more of a long-term mortgage plan or strategy?
Definitely, the people who are working on our file, they understood that, my wife and I, we're a young couple. We have a very young daughter, and this whole process that we're undergoing is a bit of a risk for us, just because like I said, we're sort of jumping into our dream home. So when we were going through the mortgage, they knew that. And so they were taking this, they knew we weren't going to be selling in 2 years. They knew we weren't flipping this house. They knew that this was something that we were going to be in for the foreseeable future.
A young daughter, a new home, a long-term mortgage strategy. Future looks very bright.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the whole process has been very nerve-wracking, very stressful, but her group definitely helped take that element out of it. I knew that everything else, was kind of up in the air, but I knew that our financing was going to be fine, and it was going to be reasonable, and they were going to do the best that they could to get us something that we could afford. So
what advice would you give the folks who are listening to the radio program this evening, Michael?
Oh, don't hesitate. Don't think twice about contacting her group. There's no risk. You have really everything to gain and really nothing to lose if it doesn't work out, or if they can't help you for whatever reason. You don't lose anything. And dealing with banks on your own is just such a it's not even a hassle. It's impossible. I have a bank that I've been banking with for the last 15, 20 years, and I went to them for a short-term loan to cover some financing for my mortgage, and the guy on the phone sort of gave me the gears a little bit that I wasn't doing my mortgage through that particular financial institution. And he went on about how, well, you know, customer loyalty is a big thing now. We could have gotten you a very good rate. All this, you know, you've been banking with us for almost 20 years, all this other kind of stuff. I said, you know what, you're right, but I'm working with a brokerage and I trust their advice. Now, on the same token, I need a loan to cover a deposit for my home. Oh, you know, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. You know, we're going to have to appraise your house and do all this other kind of thing. I'm like, you were just talking to me about customer loyalty, which is obviously a song and dance that you give, and you know, it's not worth trying to deal with the bank on your own. That's for sure.